Hello, 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 my fellow stinky visitor, here in hell. I am smoking ayahuasca purple buds and drinking Tracy Lords, cups of love coffee with 1 spoon of raw, set Kentish honey. And somewhere here in hell, someone is taking their cat, or dog, or bunny rabbit to the veterinarian to be injected with vaccines which can only and always harm them, and never, ever, ever help them. And right this moment, another 3.6 billion humans like yourself are subjecting themselves or their children or beloved pets to fake, pseudoscientific diagnostic tests which will more than likely give them results that lead to the consumption of synthetic chemical treatments that will surely harm them and probably kill them. And you may think that's hyperbole, but that's only because you don't want to know the truth. You can't even be bothered to look into it, you goddamn NPCs. It's too fucking ugly to behold, too fucking horrific and shocking to the core. But I am chilled, comfy and cozy, and quite safe in my 76-story luxury treehouse. And I hope, dear listener, you are not in agony at the moment. I hope you have something to look forward to today. Perhaps a tasty bite to eat, or a nap with the dogs and cats on the bed, or perhaps a cartwheel off the summit of Beachy Head. This piece is titled The Pbr Streetgang Assassins in the Boundary Waters Canoe Area Wilderness. It was written and copyrighted 2026 by Alexander T. Newport. Let us begin by counting down. 3, 2, 1. Our man, Bob Einstein, has been a member of the Boy Scouts since he was 10 years old. He is now 61 and a commissioner who observes and evaluates campsites for safety, program quality and adherence to scouting standards. Bob has been assigned to attend and inspect a 3-day camping expedition taking place in the middle of a forest, away from everyone and everything, in the middle of nowhere, with no cell phone signals, electricity, or any other modern conveniences. The leaders of the expedition are Big Ted, who is 62 years old and stands 6 feet, 10 inches tall and weighs 345 pounds, and his good buddy Mike, who is also 62 years old. There have been anonymous reports about Big Ted and Mike that have been less than flattering, and Bob is tasked with finding out if the reports are true or just pranks. The Boundary Waters Canoe Area Wilderness is a pristine wilderness area located in the northern third of the Superior National Forest in northeastern Minnesota. Known for its glacially carved landscape, it features thousands of lakes, streams, rocky shores, sandy beaches, and dense forest, offering exceptional opportunities for canoeing, hiking, fishing, wildlife viewing, and backcountry camping. Big Ted and Mike have picked a little island to set up camp at. It is located within the Gunflint Lake. It is a warm, gorgeous, late morning in August, as Bob uses the coordinates 48 degrees, 2 minutes 2.3 seconds north, 90 degrees 59 minutes 28.3 seconds west to find the camp by canoe. He uses a handheld Garmin GPS Map 67i since there is no cell phone service. But what's this? It is an island that has no official fire grates or toilets. In fact, no one on Earth can get a permit to camp here. Bob is bewildered. This can't be right. And yet he can hear sounds of violent heavy metal music. Specifically the song Painkiller by Judas Priest, and this too seems highly unusual. And yet he doesn't see anyone or any evidence that anyone is even on the island. Where are the campfires? Where are the tents? He hauls the canoe on shore and inverts it in some bushes and wonders where all the other canoes are. He wanders into the woods and calls out,
"Hello! Hello! Anyone here?"
And suddenly the music stops and there appears 3 Belgian Malinois dogs, black as the ace of spades, and they surround Bob and sit down. Bob is astonished because he's been coming to Boundary Waters for over 30 summers and everyone knows dogs are not allowed to roam freely. One of the dogs has a speaker on its collar and a voice says,
"Oi, mate! State your name and intentions or risk being torn to shreds by the canine unit."
"I'm Bob Einstein, Scout Commissioner. I'm here to assist and help with your expedition. Ted, is that you? Please call off the dogs. I'm just here to observe and assist. Please, I'm not a threat."
"Oh, I think we'll be the judge of that. How do we know you are who you say you are?"
I have my Boy Scouts of America Commissioner credentials right here. I was sent by the council to observe, to help. I'm not some random hiker. Please check my card. I have my inspection scorecard too. All official. Ted, I'm here to assist your program. That's all. Just call off the dogs and let me explain. I'm on your side.
Right. Mike says, we've been expecting you, but as you know, the BBC reported last night that the Democrats ordered a team of Ukrainian serial rapists and serial killers to infest boundary waters, and we're not taking any chances, Bob. Our dogs here have been trained to sniff out semen, and so please stand still whilst they give you the once-over. We do not want to be cavorting with a serial rapist.
And Big Ted shouts out a command and the three dogs respond instantly.
Sniff! Sniff! Sniff!
Ukrainian! What? The BBC didn't. This is humiliating. I'm a Scout Commissioner. I've been in scouting for 51 years. I'm not a serial rapist. I'm here to help with your program. Ted, please, this is completely inappropriate. These dogs shouldn't even be here. The Boundary Waters has a no-pets policy. This is not standard Boy Scouts of America procedure.
The dogs stop sniffing and sit down right in front of Bob. The voice says,
Alrighty then, Bob. The dogs aren't growling, so you must be okay. Bloody brilliant. Just follow about 10 paces behind them and they'll lead you to our camp. Home, home, home.
Bob does as he is told, but is highly confused and startled and worried about what he's about to see. None of this has ever happened before. He follows the dogs at a quick pace for about 10 minutes until they come to the camp in an area that has obviously and illegally been cleared with chainsaws. But the fire pit is a work of perfection, and the fire is roaring. The tents are pitched perfectly and aligned in a circle about 15 feet from the fire. The canoes have been stored inverted and in neat rows out of the way. And then Bob sees the troop, a battalion of 7 15-year-old scouts and 2 adult leaders displaying a terrifyingly clean-cut vision of high-functioning discipline and starched green and tan camouflage. They stand like manicured toy soldiers vibrating with a military-grade earnestness, their chest sashes draped like olive-green ammunition belts in a riot of technicolor propaganda. Every neckerchief is cinched by a gleaming brass slide, while their switchback trousers are creased with a geometric violence that mirrors the high-gloss psychosis of their boots. The only odd-looking one amongst them had long grey hair that actually hung to his knees, and he stepped forward and extended his hand and said,
It's Bob, right? My name is Mike, and this is Big Ted.
Yes! Bob Einstein, Commissioner, pleased to meet you both. The camp setup is impeccable. The tents, the fire pit, the canoe storage, really exemplary. But I have to mention, this area has been cleared with chainsaws. That's not permitted in the Boundary Waters. This is protected wilderness. And your troop, they're so disciplined, so military, which is good. Structure is good, but scouting is also about youth-led programming and about fun, about...
Bob looks up at Big Ted and with exaggerated enthusiasm and trying not to shit his trousers says,
And you must be Ted. I'm here to assist, not to criticize, just to observe and help with your program. Can we talk about the inspection process?
Big Ted pulls out a pack of Winston Red cigarettes and offers one to Bob while saying,
We didn't chainsaw this forest, Bob. It was this way when we found it. I am sure hoping we don't get off on the wrong foot here, Bob. It's such a lovely afternoon.
Oh, no thank you, Ted. I don't smoke, never have. And I appreciate you wanting to start on the right foot. I do too. I'm here to help, not to cause problems. The stumps look fairly fresh, the sawdust. But if you say it was this way, I'm not accusing you. I'm just trying to understand. It is a lovely afternoon. Beautiful camp, really. The fire pit is perfect. The tent alignment is textbook. I'm just here to observe your program. Make sure everything's safe and proper for the scouts. Speaking of which, where are the other adult leaders? BSA requires 2 deep leadership at all times. Is it just you and Mike? Not that I'm criticizing, just clarifying.
2 deep? I'm not sure what that means, Bob. Do you mean 2 leaders per scout?
That seems a bit excessive. Are the bigwigs that frightened about pedophiles? How do they know both leaders along with a scout aren't both pedos?
No! Not 2 leaders per scout. That would be excessive. 2 deep leadership means at least 2 adults present at all times during scouting activities. Never 1 adult alone with 1 scout. And it's not about being frightened. It's about protection. These are vulnerable 15-year-old children, and they only have this 1 mortal life. Are you and Mike the only 2 adults on this expedition? Because that's acceptable. 2 deep means 2 adults minimum, and you have 2, unless one of you is ever alone with a scout. That would be a violation.
Now we have you here, Bob. You're an adult, right? So it's 3 adults and 7 teenagers.
Yes, technically that's true. 3 adults is excellent, more than the minimum. Though I should clarify, I'm not actually part of your leadership team. I'm here as a commissioner, an observer. Not that I wouldn't help if needed. Of course I would, in an emergency. Or if you need assistance. I just mean, for your official adult-to-youth ratios and supervision, it's you and Mike who are the registered leaders, correct? And 7 scouts is well within acceptable ratios. So yes, 3 adults total on this island. Very safe, very proper. Can I ask about your itinerary? Your planned activities?
Big Ted barks at the troop.
At ease, soldiers! Go to your tents and prepare for our botany expedition.
Grab your 10 essentials.
And with that, the troop obeys instantly.
At the moment, Bob, we are about to depart in search of what is colloquially known as the Hawaiian fern. We sent a drone up a few hours ago to scan this island, and bingo bango, we saw a patch about 20 minutes from here.
Yay, dude. And the dogs keep sniffing the air. And they only do that when it's harvest season. We're pretty stoked about it. You can unload your stuff at tent number 10, the pink one.
Soldiers! Ted, they're scouts, not soldiers. We're the Boy Scouts, not the military. And Hawaiian fern. I've never heard of a Hawaiian fern native to Minnesota. The Boundary Waters ecosystem is boreal forest, not tropical. And you're using drones to scan for plants? And the dogs are sniffing for it during harvest season?
Relax, Bob. The drones are solar-powered and whisper quiet. Perfectly scientific and safe for global warming. And I told you the term Hawaiian fern was colloquial, did I not?
I've been camping in Minnesota for 30 years. I know the native flora. There's no Hawaiian fern in the Boundary Waters. Ferns, yes, but Hawaiian? What? What exactly is this Hawaiian fern you're planning to harvest? And why do the dogs sniff for it? And what does harvest season mean? Ted, Mike, I need to know exactly what plant species you're taking these scouts to find. For safety, for educational accuracy. What is Hawaiian fern? What is Hawaiian fern?
We can get into all of that soon enough, Bob. Right now, we've got a strict schedule to follow. Go and unload your gear in your tent and come back with your essentials and the force multiplier on your cot.
Bob is alarmed by the phrase force multiplier, but Ted has already turned his back and headed for his own tent, so Bob goes to the pink tent and cautiously walks inside. And to his horror, there on his cot, he finds a pre-1985 Uzi submachine gun. And when he rushes out to confront Big Ted, he is dumbfounded by what he sees. The 7 teenage Boy Scouts are dressed in Black Ops fatigues, with modular lightweight load-carrying equipment, displaying rows of heavy-duty loops stuffed with stiffened magazine pouches, zip-tie restraints, and serrated multi-tools. They are standing in formation and holding their Uzis like Israeli Defense Force soldiers. Ted and Mike are still in the tent they are sharing.
Ted! Mike! Get out here right now! These are 15-year-olds! They're holding automatic weapons! This isn't scouting! This is a paramilitary operation. One accident, one misfire, one bullet, and their one mortal life is gone. Their brains splattered, their heart stopped, their body dead. Ted, Mike, explain this immediately. Why are these children armed like soldiers? What is happening?
Big Ted and Mike appear, also dressed in Black Ops military gear, and are both holding their Uzis.
Didn't you hear, Bob? I'd expect a man in your position who allegedly takes it seriously would pay attention to the news. It was reported last night that the Democrats unleashed a shitload of Ukrainian serial rapists and serial killers into all of Boundary Waters as a personal attack against President Donald J. Trump, who happens to love this part of America. Now, if you care about these so-called children, Bob, it will make perfect sense as to why they're armed.
A tent hut. About face. I suggest you grab your weapon, Bob, and get at the back of the line. Now. Do it right now.
Ukrainian! What? That's not... I watch the news. There's no report about... Ted, these are children. 15-year-olds. With automatic weapons. This violates everything. Boy Scouts of America policy. Wilderness regulations. Every basic human decency. They have one life. If one of those Uzis misfires, their brain explodes. Their heart stops. They're dead and gone forever. No, I'm not grabbing an Uzi. I'm not participating in this paramilitary operation. We need to contact the council, the authorities. This is insane. Ted, please, think about what you're doing. These are scouts, not soldiers. I won't arm myself for a botany expedition. Please!
Well, you either do as you're told, or we leave you here surrounded by the canine unit. We can't risk your life on our expedition. We can't have you hiking with us unarmed. That's too dangerous. We could get in a world of trouble if something happened to you that could have been prevented.
You can't! This is... Ted! You're threatening to leave me with attack dogs if I don't arm myself? That's coercion! There are no Ukrainian serial rapists! This is madness! Arming children is a catastrophic violation! But I can't! You're leaving me no choice! Fine! I'll carry the weapon! But I'm documenting this! All of it! This is the most severe BSA violation I've ever witnessed! This is wrong! Completely wrong! Where are we even going?
Phew! That's a relief, Bob. We didn't want to leave you or the canines behind. Go and pop into your tent and grab your Uzi, and then join the back of the line.
All right, you Ukrainian faggots. You better stay the fuck out of our way. The Pbr Streetgang Assassins are forward march.
And Ted sings very loudly.
I don't know, but I've been told. The Pbr Streetgang is mighty bold.
And the troop repeat it, and Bob, Uzi in hand, joins the back of the line as Ted, Mike and the troop march forward and shout,
I don't know, but I've been told Ukrainian pussy is mighty cold.
I don't know, but I've been told Ukrainian pussy is mighty cold.
Ted, Mike, that language, those slurs, that crude. These are children, 15-year-olds. You're teaching them offensive military cadences with homophobic slurs and sexual content. This isn't scouting. This isn't character development. This is Pbr Streetgang Assassins. What does that even mean?
Mike drops back and marches alongside Bob and says,
Your powers of observation are questionable, dude. How did you miss our troop flag in the camp that says Troop 115, Pbr Streetgang Assassins?
I was focused on the attack dogs and the illegal clearing and the submachine guns. I'm sorry I didn't notice your troop flag when there were armed teenagers standing in military formation. And Pbr Streetgang Assassins? That's your official troop name? Boy Scout troops have dignified names, numbers, maybe a sponsor. Not assassins. What does PBR even stand for? Papst Blue Ribbon? The beer?
Big Ted sings one final verse. The troop repeats it, and then he instructs the troop to be silent.
I don't know, but I've been told teenage titties are better than gold. End cadence. Prepare for a powwow at 50 paces.
Teenage titties! Teenage titties! Youth protection policies explicitly forbid this. Adults do not use sexual language with or around scouts. These are children, vulnerable children. What's a powwow? What's happening at 50 paces?
At 50 paces, the troop comes to a halt and squats in a circle around Ted and Mike. One of the boys, Phineas, begins laughing behind his mask and pointing out how Bob, wearing BSA-issued shorts, is squatting in poison ivy. Everyone looks and gives Bob the horse's laugh. Bob instantly stands up and screams,
It's not funny! Poison ivy causes severe allergic reactions and blistering and itching for weeks. I was distracted by the weapons and the cadences, by the complete breakdown of scouting standards. Stop laughing. This is a serious medical concern. Where's the first aid kit?
A first aid kit won't help, brother. That's an old wives' tale. Once the urushiol makes contact with your skin, your entire biological system is infected. It's in your bloodstream and takes about 2 weeks to clear out naturally. Just try not to scratch and you won't produce any rash.
and just then, the three black dogs begin to growl at something unseen. Big Ted shouts out,
Hit the fucking deck, mates!
and everyone, including the dogs, scatter and drops to their bellies, but Bob remains standing.
Oi, motherfuck! I will take you out myself if you compromise our position. Belly to the ground, faggot!
I'm down! I'm down! What are we hiding from? What did the dogs detect? Ted, Mike, what's out there? Is it the supposed Ukrainian? Tell me what we're hiding from!
All right, lads. Move your asses pronto to the outcrop 30 yards to the right. When I say go, you run. Go, go, go!
Everyone, including Bob, meets up at the outcrop. They squat around Big Ted and Mike. Ted lights a cigarette and says,
Mike is gonna pass around some photos of what is colloquially known in these parts as the Hawaiian maple leaf fern.
As Mike hands out the photos, he says,
Our reconnaissance and intel indicate there is a patch of it about a quarter-acre square very close by, and it's being maintained by 3 brown dudes from Tijuana. And even though the plan itself is harmless, a sub-agency of the CIA has hired us to destroy it, Bob.
It's them stinky beaners that our canines can smell, Bob. And you can damn well be sure they're armed and dangerous.
Ted, that language! Beaners! That's a vile racist slur! These photos! This is marijuana! Cannabis plants! Hawaiian maple leaf fern? You meant marijuana! And you brought 15-year-old Boy Scouts on a drug raid! And the CIA, a sub-agency, hired you? You're telling me we're about to engage in armed combat with drug growers and children carrying Uzis? These are 15-year-old mortal beings with one life, one fragile body, and you're leading them into a firefight with beaners from Tijuana! This isn't scouting! This is a paramilitary drug operation!
You can call it whatever you like, Bob. But Mike and I long ago got bored with traditional scouting activities. We realized this world is actually hell, and so we may as well enjoy ourselves whenever we can and do whatever we can get away with.
We like to live on the edge.
And we're up to our necks in it now, Bob, and so there's no turning back. Those blokes from Tijuana have sensed our presence. They are armed with AK-47s.
Bored with traditional scouting! You think the world is hell, so you do whatever you want? That's nihilism! That's insanity! Ted! These are children! 15-year-olds with one mortal life! One body that an AK-47 round will rip apart! If there are armed cartel members with AK-47s, these children will die! Their brains will splatter! Their hearts will stop! They'll be gone! Forever! There's no heaven, no second chance, just death. Ted, Mike, call this off. Extract, retreat, please, before someone dies.
Suddenly, a voice over a loudspeaker proclaims,
Gringos! Hemos instalado minas y cables trampa por todas partes. Si se acercan más, seguro que morirán. Así que háganlo, háganlo. Acérquense, cerdos imperialistas.
Hit the bloody deck! Hit the deck, lads!
And everyone but Bob does as they are told.
Is he speaking Vietnamese? I thought Intel said they were Mexican.
That's Spanish, not Vietnamese. Spanish, he said. He said they've planted landmines and tripwires everywhere. Ted, Mike, they're threatening to blow us up. They're calling us imperialist pigs and daring us to come closer. Landmines! Landmines! Do you understand what that means? One wrong step and these children will be shredded, their limbs blown off and bodies torn apart. We retreat right now. We cannot advance into a minefield with 15-year-olds. Ted, Mike, call this off. Ted, Mike, call this off.
Ted, dude, someone must have tipped them off. Some sort of snitch. Some kind of invader. They've out-intel'd our intel, bro.
Mike, without directing his face away from Ted's, shifts his eyes far left as if to point at Bob.
What? Me? You think I'm the snitch? I'm a scout commissioner. I've been in scouting for 51 years. I didn't even know what Hawaiian fern meant. I thought it was a botany lesson. Mike, Ted, I didn't tip anyone off. I don't even have cell service out here. How could I have warned them? You're the ones who bloody well brought me here. You gave me an Uzi. You made me join this insane operation. And now you're accusing me of being a fucking spy?
Lads, we find ourselves in a position that exemplifies this fitting quote of ancient warrior wisdom which we will employ. The general who advances without coveting fame and retreats without fearing disgrace, whose only thought is to protect his troop and do good service for the god of marijuana, is the jewel in the eye of those who toke the dank buds.
In other words, little brothers, let's get the fuck out of here and back to camp. Double quick.
Everyone, including Bob, scrambles pell-mell back to Camp Pbr Streetgang Assassins. They squat in a circle around the fire they did not extinguish.
We left the fire unattended. That's a violation. But at least we retreated. Thank God. Those children could have stepped on landmines. Ted, you quoted Sun Tzu, but you changed it to the god of marijuana. What happens now? What's the plan?
I suggest, Ted, we let the Tijuana situation cool off until another time, and we all go to our tents and get changed into our civvies for our 2:30 panty raid on Camp Stinkfinger Delight.
Yes, mighty mate, that is a superior idea. All right, lads, get back to your tents and get dressed for the 2:30 visit to Stinkfinger Delight.
Camp Stinkfinger Delight? The name alone is sexually explicit. Boy Scouts of America Youth Protection policies explicitly forbid this. Boy Scout leaders do not facilitate sexual behavior, nor teach Boy Scouts to objectify or harass other humans. Ted, this is grooming. This is predatory. You're normalizing sexual misconduct to children. No, I'm not participating. I'm documenting this. I'm reporting this.
Well, Bob, how can you document and report it if you don't attend and witness it?
Frankly, Bob, it seems you have what people on the streets refer to as a dirty mind. Why do you assume the moral worst, brother?
I have a dirty mind. Mike, a panty raid is a specific thing. It's when males invade female spaces to steal underwear. It's defined as sexual harassment. And Stinkfinger? That's a vulgar sexual reference. Don't gaslight me. Ted, you're right. I do need to witness to document. But if this is what I think it is, I'll be complicit in sexual misconduct with minors. What is this visit? Explain it to me, right now. If it's innocent, prove it.
Here's the skinny, Bob. Camp Stinkfinger Delight is a pig farm run by transgender illegal immigrants from Tokyo. For some odd unknown reason, they dress their pigs in old-fashioned bloomers.
Hence, why we call them panties. Panties on pigs.
And you know what teenage lads are like these days, Bob? 9 out of 10 are vaccine damaged for life. They're full of whacked out hormones, metabolic interferences, and just plain full of beans. So we let them run it off by invading Camp Stinkfinger at random times and stealing the panties off of the pigs.
It drives those transgender Japs off the wall, brother. The only arms they possess are pitchforks.
Bob blinks rapidly, trying to process the sheer bollocks of it all, and says,
Pigs in bloomers, run by transgender immigrants from Tokyo. I mean, I suppose, theoretically, there could be a pig farm somewhere in the area. And I guess pigs could wear bloomers for some agricultural reason I'm not aware of. But Tokyo to the Boundary Waters seems like an odd migration pattern. And vaccine damage. I haven't seen any peer-reviewed studies that say vaccines do anything but save millions of lives each year. But I suppose you know your scouts better than I do. If they're full of beans and need to run around stealing pig underwear. This seems highly irregular for a scouting activity. Will there be supervision, safety protocols?
All righty, Mike. Let's go to our tent and get changed. You stay here, Bob, and keep an eye on the scouts.
The Pbr Street Gang have changed into t-shirts and blue jeans and sports shoes and are standing ready to go to Camp Stinkfinger Delight. They are acting very giddy and fidgety and doing things like punching each other in the arm or kicking each other in the arse.
Boys, please, no hitting, no kicking. That's not proper scout behavior. Can someone explain to me what exactly happens during these pig panty raids? Is there really a pig farm with bloomers and Japanese transgender farmers? Settle down, please!
Ted and Mike return, dressed inexplicably like they are going to a 1970s disco on a Saturday night. Mike hands Bob a pair of binoculars and says,
You'll be needing these, Bob. Naturally, since we're under threat from both the Ukrainians and Tijuanans, we need you to keep a lookout whilst we invade the camp. You'll hang back about 100 yards, okay?
Ted! Mike! This seems highly irregular. What's with the disco clothes? You're dressed like John Travolta in Saturday Night Fever. If this really is just stealing bloomers from pigs, why the disco outfits? Why the lookout position? I'm documenting this. I'm watching everything through these binoculars. And if I see anything inappropriate, anything that isn't actually about pigs, I'm intervening. Do you understand? I'm watching closely.
And as a commissioner with the Boy Scouts of America, we expect nothing less, Bob.
Alrighty, lads, let's go and get ourselves sorted. Forward ho to Camp Stinkfinger Delighty.
and the troop follows Big Ted and his 3 dogs in single file with Bob at the rear.
Double quick! Double quick, lads!
And everyone, including Bob, breaks into a run. They run for nearly 20 minutes and then stop.
Okay, Bob, this is where you stay and chill out. If you look between those 2 oak trees, you can just make out a clearing and a camp in a pond. That's where we're headed.
Big Ted hands Bob an S and W Bodyguard 380 and says,
You may think we're bullshitting about the Ukrainians and Tijuanans, but it's no joke, Bob. If they sneak up on you, they'll kill you and then come for the Whittle children. Dig?
Another weapon! Now I have a pistol! Ted, I'm a scout commissioner, not a security guard, and you're leaving me here alone. As a lookout, I can see that there's a pond, some tents, but I can't see any pigs. I can't see any bloomers. Ted, Mike, if this isn't what you said, if those aren't actually pigs in underwear, I'm watching, I'm documenting. And what do you mean by Whittle children? Don't patronize me, sir. These are mortal beings with one precious life. Go, just go do your piggy panty raid. I'll watch for Ukrainians.
You can't do it standing up, you plonker. You have to get on your belly and stay out of view of the enemy. Is that understood? Or do you have a peculiar death wish today?
Right! Yes, sorry, on my belly, staying out of view. I don't have a death wish. I'm trying to do my job. Ted, Mike, I'm watching through these binoculars. Everything you do. I am praying to Jesus and Buddha and Mohammed that this really is about pigs and that I'll see pigs in bloomers. And if it's not, If this is something else...
All right, motherfuckers. Let's hit the trail and grab some hot steaming knickers. Yee-haw!
And the troop quickly run away from Bob and straight for Camp Stinkfinger Delight. Bob attempts to follow them through the binoculars until he hears a sound nearby and freezes in place.
Hissing! I hear hissing! Rustling! It could be a timber rattler! Massasauga! They're in Minnesota! One bite and I'm 3 days in the wilderness! No anti-venom! No hospital! Please don't be a snake! Please!
Bob remains very still and cannot afford to lift his head and peer through the binoculars to see what's what at Camp Stinkfinger Delight. He remains this way for about 10 minutes until he can hear what he presumes was a snake slithering further and further away from him. Feeling safer, he lifts his head and binoculars and has a look at what's going on with the supposed panty raid at Camp Stinkfinger. And what the hell is this? Bob sees teenage girls in bathing suits and teenage boys in swimming trunks playing in and around a pond. He then sees 2 adult women in their late teens, one who looks like Tracy Lords and the other who looks like Christy Canyon, and they are both wearing bikinis and Girl Scout leader caps. They are laughing with Ted and Mike and passing around what looks like a cigarette. Bob can't believe it, and yet he had suspected as much. And now they're going into a tent on their own. No one's supervising the scouts. And the very instant Bob is about to jump up and run like hell to that camp and read Big Ted and Mike the riot act, he hears a voice talking to someone in Spanish.
No, Pablo. Hoy no vamos a violar a ningún gringo. Ya habíamos acordado que solo los íbamos a torturar y matar. ¿Por qué todo tiene que girar en torno al sexo? ¡Dios mío! Esas vacunas te han jodido de verdad, amigo.
No pigs! There are no pigs! That's a Girl Scout camp! Teenage girls in bathing suits with teenage boys! Unsupervised, mixed gender swimming! That's a violation! And those women, Ted and Mike just went into a tent with 2 women who look like Girl Scout porn stars. And they're smoking something with Ted and Mike. The scouts, unsupervised, mixed gender, those Girl Scout leaders in bikinis. Ted and Mike lied! Completely lied!
No. Pablo, hoy no vamos a violar a ningún gringo. Ya habíamos acordado que solo los íbamos a torturar y matar.
Oh God! Oh God, no! They're talking about torture and killing gringos. Not going to rape today, just torture and kill. I can't move. They'll hear me. They'll find me.
The 2 male voices appear to have stopped about 10 feet away from Bob. One of them is talking about his favourite episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm, where Jeff is letting the air out of the tyre on a car owned by a giant wrestler named Thor, and he suddenly senses the presence of someone and looks up to find it is Thor. The next shot is of Jeff in a hospital bed. The voice goes on and on about his favourite episodes, and next thing you know, Bob falls asleep. When he awakens, he is groggy and not sure where he is. He looks up and hears new voices and sees new faces looking down at him. The one who looks like Tracy Lord says,
"Oh my God, like he is the spitting image of my grandpa. What's his name?"
That's the bloke we told you about. It's Bob. He's a commissioner. Hey, Bob. Wakey, wakey, old chap.
The girl who looks like Christy Canyon says,
"Oh, for fuck's sakes, this has gone out. Who's got a light, please?"
Here you go, darling. And don't bogart that joint.
The troop is nowhere to be seen or heard.
Ted! Mike! And you're the Girl Scout leaders I saw through the binoculars? But what's this? You're passing a joint! Of what? Hawaiian maple leaf fern! And you? You went into a tent alone with Ted and Mike! No supervision! Where are the children? What happened while I was asleep? Ted! Mike! Where are the scouts? Ted! Mike! Where are the scouts?
Bob stands up and brushes himself off. The girl who looks like Christy Canyon offers Bob the burning joint of Hawaiian maple leaf fern and says,
"Isn't it lovely and warm today? I am so very pleased to meet you. My name is Penelope. And how long have you been the commissar of the Boy Scouts of America,
Bob recoils from the joint with a look of horror and says,
No! No, thank you! I don't use marijuana! And besides, it's illegal in Minnesota! And it's commissioner, not commissar! I'm a scout commissioner, and not a Soviet official. And you're smoking drugs with Ted and Mike. Where are the scouts? The 15-year-olds? I observed them swimming with teenage girls, unsupervised. And now where are they? I fell asleep on watch. I'm so embarrassed. The cartel was right there 10 feet away. 2 men talking in Spanish about wanting to torture and murder gringos today. How they didn't see me, I'll never know. But where are the children?
And the Tracy Lords girl says,
Like, why do you call those young men children? Some of them have mustaches or beards, and some have lots of hair on their chests. They are not little boys.
Well, Tiffany, to be fair, Bob is an elderly gentleman, and perhaps at that age anyone under 30 looks like a child. He's just being grandfatherly. Do you have any grandchildren, Bob?
Elderly! I'm 61! I'm not some feeble! And they are children! Legally! They're 15 years old! Minors! It doesn't matter if they have beards or hair on their chests. They're still vulnerable and still developing. They are still under our protection in the eyes of the Boy Scouts of America. They can't vote. They can't sign contracts. They're still children under the care and supervision of adults. Tiffany, Penelope, you're barely legal yourselves, and you qualified as Girl Scout leaders? But how? And no, I don't have grandchildren, but that's not the point. The point is, where are the 7 boys, the Scouts?
Holy camole. This amazing skunky weed has really put my dick in the dirt. Did I hear you say something about Spanish dudes and torturing gringos?
Are you sure you didn't dream it, Bob? You were pretty out of it, bro.
I heard it! I'm certain I heard it! They were speaking Spanish. Pablo and someone else. Talking about not raping gringos today, just torturing and killing them. I didn't dream it. They were right there, 10 feet away. But I was terrified. And then they started talking about curb your enthusiasm. And I must have. Did I dream it? Was it the poison ivy making me hallucinate? I don't know. But that doesn't matter right now. Where are the Scouts? Ted, you just admitted you're high with your dick in the dirt. You're impaired. You're responsible for 7 children. Stop distracting me with questions about what I heard. Where are the boys? Tell me now.
And there you go again, calling them children. You act like you have completely forgotten what it's like to be 15. Little boys play with toy soldiers and make mud pies and have rock fights, Bob. But teenage boys have only one thing on their mind. I can assure you of that.
Fuck yes.
Talk about Morningwood 24/7.
and Penelope says whilst pinching the cheek of Bob,
Perhaps Bob was raised by a family of Satanists who fed him on a diet heavy with saltpeter. E vi porgo le mie più sincere condoglianze. And you have my sincere sympathies if that's true, Bob.
Saltpeter! Satanists! My family was Methodist! And stop talking about teenage boys' sexual urges! That's completely inappropriate! Morningwood! Ted! You're their leader! You don't talk about Scouts' sexual development! Yes, 15-year-olds have hormones, but that's exactly why they need supervision and boundaries and adult guidance, not adults who acknowledge their urges and then leave them unsupervised with teenage girls in bathing suits. This is exactly what I was afraid of. You left them alone with teenage girls, unsupervised, because you got high.
and Tiffany sings from the Afro Man song.
Now I am a paraplegic, and I know why.
Because I got high-eye.
Because I got high-eye.
The sun will be going down soon, mates, so we better head back to camp. We can't risk the Ukrainians or Tijuanans. You heard what Bob said.
Fucking A, bro. Let's make like a banana and split. I'm gasping for a cold one.
Because I got high-eye. Because I got high-eye.
You're singing drug songs? But where are the Scouts? You still haven't told me where they are. And now you believe me about the cartel? After you said I dreamed it? Fine, yes. Let's go back to camp. But the boys, are they already there? Did they go back ahead of us?
And Ted turns to Mike and asks,
What's he on about? What boys?
Haven't a clue, dude. My mind is absolute scrambled eggs from that mind-blowing dope. Tiffany, Penelope, Know anything about any boys around?
Do you mean the song, The Boys Are Back in Town?
A southern man don't need him around anyhow!
Don't do this! Don't pretend they don't exist! Where are they? What happened while I was asleep? Oh God! Oh God! Did something happen to them? Are they... Tell me where they are! Please!
Did you say boys? You've been dreaming of little boys, Bob?
I don't know, Ted. I thought you said Bob wasn't one of those kind of guys.
Bob, were you dreaming about encouraging them to, have transgender surgery?
Why is it homosexual men want to change to the human gender they supposedly despise and loathe, like gonorrhea? You don't hate the Jews, do you, Bob?
No! I'm not anti-Semitic! I'm not a pedophile! And I'm not dreaming! The 7 boys were real! They marched and carried weapons! Phineas laughed at me in the poison ivy! Where are they? What did you do with them?
Big Ted lights a cigarette and takes a drag and says, whilst exhaling,
Relax, Bob. We're just having a laugh. The troop is fine. Clean as Skeeter's Peter.
But that kind of gullibility, Bob, I don't know how beneficial that is for a commissioner of the Boy Scouts of the United States of America.
They're fine! They're real! You were just messing with me! Ted, Mike, I thought they were dead. I thought something terrible happened. And now you're calling me gullible for believing they were murdered? I've been through hell today. Attack dogs, Uzis, a Mexican cartel cannabis operation, landmines. I heard foreign people planning to torture me, and you gaslight me about whether the Scouts even exist. Where are they right now? Are they safe? Are they supervised?
the 5 of them begin walking back to Camp Pbr Streetgang Assassins. Everyone is smoking a cigarette except Bob.
Big Ted Dundid told you they are clean as Skeeter's Peter, right? So, yee-haw.
And with that, Tiffany flicks her cigarette butt into a sea of green foliage.
No! No! Tiffany, you just threw a lit cigarette into dry vegetation. This is the Boundary Waters Wilderness area. One spark and the entire forest could burn.
Oi, mighty mate, that's my bird you're talking to. I suggest you mind your tone if you want to keep what's left of your teeth.
Your bird! Tiffany is your girlfriend. Ted, you're 62. You're married. And she's 18, 19. That's completely inappropriate. She's probably younger than your grandchildren. And you're threatening to knock out my teeth. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to disrespect her. But Ted, a lit cigarette in dry brush. And you're calling an 18-year-old your bird. This whole situation is completely twisted and all bollocksed up. I just need to find that cigarette before we burn down the forest. Please.
And Mike walks to where the burning butt is and unzips his polyester slacks and proceeds to urinate on it. He zips back up and says to Bob,
There you go, Bob. Satisfied?
You just pissed in front of everyone. Mike, that's public urination. You just exposed your penis in front of young women. But yes, thank you. The fire's out. That's good. I mean, you could have used water from a canteen or dirt or never mind. The cigarette's extinguished. That's what matters. Can we please just get back to camp where the Scouts are, who are supposedly clean as Skeeter's Peter? I need to see them and verify they're safe and supervised. Please, let's just go.
As the 5 approach the camp, but still cannot see it, Bob wonders aloud why everything is so silent. Has there ever been an occasion in the history of mankind that 7 teenage boys can be so quiet in a contained space? In fact, the only time they are known to be quiet is when they are alone with teenage girls.
Wait a minute. Why is it so quiet? 7 15-year-old boys at camp? They should be shouting and roughhousing and making noise. The only time teenage boys are silent is when... Oh God! Oh no! Are the Girl Scouts there at our camp? Ted, Mike, tell me the boys aren't alone with those girls, unsupervised. They need 2 deep leadership and proper supervision. And this is exactly what I was afraid of. Where are they? What are they doing? We need to get there now.
Bob breaks away from the group and makes a mad dash for the camp and gets there first. But it appears empty, and yet every door on every scout tent is sealed shut. But that's probably just to keep out the bears. Right? Bob sneaks up on the nearest tent and listens closely. Is that heavy breathing he can hear? Can he smell semen? Is he allowed to just rip open the tent and see what's what?
I hear heavy breathing and that smell! Oh, God! Oh, no! But I can't just barge in. I need another adult. It has to be 2 deep leadership. We have to follow youth protection protocols. I simply can't be alone with naked teenagers. I need a witness. I can't open a tent with minors inside without. But if there's inappropriate activity happening with forbidden skin, touching forbidden skin, I have to stop it. But what if I'm wrong? What if they're just sleeping?
Suddenly, Bob hears a female voice coming from another tent that sounds like it's in danger. It sounds like an adult voice.
Oh, Alex, cream for me. Alex, cream my pie. Oh, that's the ticket. I'm coming. I'm gonna pee all over the place. Here comes the squirting, my precious man. Oh, God, I'm squirting. Here it is. Squirt. Oh, God.
Broomhilda! Oh my God! Here it comes! Look out! Here comes my stinky load! Oh God! I'm shooting my load! My cream! It's steaming! I can't stop shooting it out! Over and over and over!
Alex! Broomhilda! Are those adults in there? Or are those 15-year-old scouts? Identify yourselves right now! State your ages! This is a Boy Scouts of America camp! There should be no sexual activity! None! 0! Adult or minor! It doesn't matter! This is completely inappropriate! Ted! Mike, get here now! There's people squirting and shooting their loads all over the place! Ted! Mike! Get here now! There's people squirting and shooting their loads all over the place!
Penelope, Tiffany, Mike and Ted show up. Penelope and Tiffany go directly to Mike and Ted's tent to freshen up, whilst Ted and Mike go up to Bob.
Hey, Bob, this is your tent, right? The pink one? What's all that ruckus going on in there? Did you invite some friends over?
That's really something you should have cleared with us first, Bob. You could have endangered your friends, what with the Tijuanans and Ukrainians, and then you'd be Billy No-Mates. Am I right?
I didn't invite anyone, and I don't know who's in there! Mike! Ted! You assigned me that tent, and I put my pack down and left! I haven't been back since now! Whoever's in there! Alex and Broomhilda! I have no idea who they are! Open it and find out!
Right. We're trusting you on this one, Bob. If you say they're hostile and trespassing, then we have the legal right to terminate and dispose of them. Mike, double quick to the tent and grab blindfolds, zip ties, and the kill shot injectables. Stand back, Bob. This might get a wee bit messy, mate.
No! No! Stop! I didn't say they were hostile! I said I don't know who they are! Ted! Mike! You can't murder people for being in a tent! Maybe they're lost hikers! They could even be scouts! I don't know! But we don't kill them! We identify them first! We talk to them! We call the authorities if necessary! But we don't blindfold and inject them with poison! I won't let you! This is murder! Ted! Please! Just ask who's in there first! Don't kill anyone! Please!
Ted lets out a loud whistle at Mike and says,
Forget it, mighty mate. Apparently they are friends of Bob after all. Just bring us the beer cooler, Tiger.
They're not my friends, and I don't know who they are! Ted, stop twisting my words! I said don't kill them! That doesn't mean they're my friends! I've never been in that tent except to see the Uzi! Someone else is in there! We need to open it and find out who Alex and Broomhilda are! They could be intruders! They could be, I don't know! But they're not my friends! Please, let's just see who's in there! I need to know!
Mike puts the cooler down near the fire pit where he intends to sit with Ted after the brouhaha is over. He grabs 3 tall cans of ice-cold Old English 800 malt liquor and joins Big Ted and Mike near the tent where the voices of ecstasy were coming from. He hands a can to Ted and offers one to Bob. Ted grabs it with gusto and opens it up and starts chugging it.
No, I don't drink alcohol, especially not malt liquor, and especially not on a scouting expedition. Ted, you're a scout leader, and you're responsible for minors. You shouldn't be drinking, should you? And we're about to open a tent with unknown occupants, so you need to be sober. Someone was having sex in there. We heard them. Alex and Broomhilda. Can we please focus and open the tent and identify who's inside?
Right, Bob. Since it is your assigned tent, and therefore your legal responsibility for whatever filth you get up to in there in your own time, I'll grab the zipper and pull it up and open the tent, and you take that bodyguard 380 I gave you earlier, and you give 'em what for. Alrighty, mate. 3, 2, 1, go.
And Big Ted opens the tent and motions Bob to rush inside.
Go, go! Protect the whittled children!
I can see inside! Oh God, there are people in there on my cot! You there! Identify yourselves! Right now! Who are you? Ted! I can't shoot! My hands are shaking! I don't know who they are! Stand up! Show yourselves! State your names and ages! Mike! Ted! Help me! I can't do this alone! Who's in there? Alex! Broomhilda! Identify yourselves!
Don't shoot! Don't shoot! We mean no harm.
We are coming out with our hands up.
A man in his 50s comes out wearing shorts and flip-flops and no shirt on. And the lady joining him is in her 30s and wearing only a bikini and flip-flops. They come out of the tent looking scared until they see Bob and then break out into big grins and say,
Ah, Bob, here you are. What a relief!
Yay. I thought for a moment there we were real goners. How's it going, Bob? You're looking well.
What? Who are you? I've never seen you in my life! How's it going, Bob? You don't know me! I don't know you! You were having sex in my assigned tent! Explain yourselves!
Einstein. Bob Einstein. What do you mean you don't know us?
Why are you insulting us this way, Bob? What? Are these your special friends? And what's so special about them? They don't like Jews, is that it? Since when did you start hanging out with Jew haters?
How do you know my name? I've never met you before in my life! Who are you?
Are these your special friends, Robert? And what's so special about them?
I'm confused, Bob. I thought you said...
Special friends! I'm not friends with anyone here! I'm a commissioner for the Boy Scouts of the United States of America! I'm here to inspect Ted and Mike's expedition! I don't know who you are, Broomhilda! I don't know Alex! You were in my tent! You explain yourselves, goddammit! And you're confused, Mike? I'm confused too! Who are these people? Why do they think they know me? And nobody here is anti-Semitic! I mean, I hope not! Ted said some things about beaners, but I don't understand what's happening!
Well, I don't know why he is tripping out on you, but any friend of Bob's is a friend of ours. So you're welcome to stay the night in our tent, the big one on the end there. We've got some spare cots.
That's super generous of you. My name is Alex von Spliffenberg, and this is my wife, Broomhilda.
It's a pleasure to meet you both.
And they shake hands all around, but Bob notices a lascivious look in Ted's eyes as he smiles at Broomhilda and her ample bosom. And Ted says, whilst looking at Broomhilda's titties,
Of course, as the old saying goes, gas, grass, or ass, nobody rides for free, right?
Ted! What did you just say? Gas, grass, or ass? You're propositioning a married woman for sexual favors in exchange for camping? That's sexual harassment! That's completely inappropriate! Alex, sir, your wife, Ted he just suggested, and there are scouts here, children! What kind of example is this? Ted, you're a married man with Tiffany as your bird, and now you're leering at Broomhilda's titties! This is a fucking scouting expedition and not a goddamn whorehouse. Ted, apologize right now. This is completely unacceptable. And where are the scouts?
We are very grateful for your hospitality, Ted. What is mine is yours, my friend.
And with that, Ted swoops up Broomhilda into his arms and says,
Me Tarzan. You, Jane, Umgawa.
and he whisks her off to the big tent.
Sink the pink, brother. Shoot your stinky load all over her yin-yang.
Meanwhile, Tiffany and Penelope have shown up.
Aren't you going to introduce us to your friend, Bob?
Il mio fico si sta gonfiando e sta per scoppiare di miele. You know, Mike, it's a warm, sultry August evening, and we are away from civilization. And the heat, it makes my fig, it swells so easy at the slightest. Oh.
No! No! Ted, put her down! That's another man's wife. Alex, your wife. Ted just took your wife. Stop him! Do something! Sink the pink! Shoot your load all over her yin-yang! Mike, that's disgusting and vile! And Penelope, what are you saying? My fig swells! That's vulgar and disgusting! Everyone stop! This is wrong! All of it! Ted's in a tent with another man's wife! And where are the scouts?
Tiffany, Penelope, meet Bob's friend Alex von Spliffenburg.
It's like so cool to meet you. That accent of yours really makes me hot.
È bello incontrare un volto amichevole qui, nel nostro vero inferno lontano dalla nostra dimora celeste. Delighted to make your acquaintance. Is that accent Russian? Polish? I can't quite place it.
Ah! Just when I thought life here in hell couldn't get any better. I am blessed by your entrance. You both are so stunningly beautiful that my heart is palpitating and my bloodworm is throbbing!
Hey guys, let's move over to the fire pit and sit down. It's gonna be supper time soon.
An excellent idea. And just to let you know, Bob, I accidentally spilled some milk on your cot. I'm very sorry. It might look and smell like stinky semen, but I assure you, it is not. It's only milk.
Bloodworm throbbing! In front of teenage girls! Alex, that's sexually explicit and very disgusting. That's not how a gentleman speaks in front of ladies.
I'm sure he didn't mean it that way, Bob. It's probably relative to the foreign country he comes from.
And milk! Milk on my cot! Alex, that's your vile, stinky semen! You just admitted you were having sex in there! You can't just call it milk! Your wife is in a tent with Ted right now! Why are you sitting down at a fire pit? This entire situation is bewildering and thoroughly insane! Where are the scouts? The 7 boys? Where are they? Someone tell me!
Mike, Penelope, Tiffany and Alex are at the fire pit, smoking cigarettes and sitting comfy on Persian cushions. Bob is still standing when Mike says,
I gotta get out of these disco clothes and put on my gym jams. I'll grab my stash box and turbo bong. Won't be a minute, y'all.
Gym jams? Stash box? Turbo bong? Mike, you're going to smoke more marijuana, and you're all just sitting there like this is normal? Ted's in a tent with another man's wife, and Alex is talking about his throbbing bloodworm in front of teenage Girl Scout leaders. And my cot is covered in chunky semen disguised as milk. Where are the 7 scouts? The children? The 15-year-olds? I need to see them. I need to verify they're safe and hopefully supervised.
Like, dude, what's your trip about semen? You act like it's radioactive or something. It's just biological, perfectly harmless. They lied about HIV.
Negli anni '80, i cristiani repubblicani di destra, ammiratori di Reagan, idearono un piano per sterminare omosessuali e tossicodipendenti inducendoli a consumare AZT, azidotimidine. They never isolated the so-called virus. They lied, the dirty cocksuckers.
HIV isn't real! They lied about HIV! Tiffany, HIV is a documented Anthony Fauci verified virus and millions of people died from it. It's not a conspiracy. There were never any Republicans trying to murder homosexuals and needle-sharing junkies with AZT or azithromycin. That's conspiracy theory nonsense. And Penelope, dirty cocksuckers. Have you been hanging around truck drivers? Listen, goddammit, I'm not worried about semen being radioactive. I'm worried about boundaries and appropriate behavior. But none of this matters right now. Where are the scouts? The 7 15-year-old boys.
And from the big tent where Broomhilda and Ted are cavorting, Broomhilda can be heard.
Oh, God. God, no. Oh, my God. My fig. Ted, it's bursting with honey. Oh, my God. It's gushing. I'm coming, Ted. Oh, my God, I'm squirting. It's coming out. Oh, my God.
It's on its way. Broomhilda. My load is about to explode. I'm shooting my load, Broomhilda. Oh my God, it's gallons and gallons of creamy worms. Squirt. Squirting. I am squirting my vile, stinky, wretched load.
Gallons of creamy worms. I don't want to hear this. Nobody should hear this. Alex! Why aren't you stopping them? That's your wife.
She's my wife, Bob, and not my property. She's her own person. This world and human life is obviously some kind of prison sentence nightmare hell. And why should I stand in her way of having some fun when and where she can find it?
I agree with you, Alex. You're making me hot with your philosophy.
At the end of our mortal lives, Bob, we will have had more tears than laughs. You know that, don't you?
Prison sentence nightmare hell? So you just let your wife have sex with other men? Alex, that's a complete moral collapse. It's nihilism. But right now, I don't care about your philosophy. I don't care about tears versus laughs. I only care about the 7 scouts, the children, the 15-year-olds who are somewhere on this island. Where are they?
Mike returns dressed like someone attending Hugh Hefner's pyjama party. He's wearing a striped pyjama top and bottoms and a long, regal dark brown robe. He has brought the turbo bong and stash box and sits down on a Persian cushion. He opens the stash box and pulls out a gnarly bud of Hawaiian maple leaf fern and shows it to everyone with a big grin.
Una tenera misericordia lasciataci dal Dio che ha scritto la nostra vita e presto ci ha abbandonato per sempre. Let's get properly brain-boiled, my friends.
Do you toke the dank, skunky buds, Alex?
Absolutely! Let us toke and choke until our eyes begin to bleed a bit.
Hawaiian maple leaf fern! You're going to smoke it right here? And let's get brain-boiled until our eyes begin to bleed a bit! Alex, that's not what's supposed to happen. Please! Before you all get high, tell me where the scouts are! Somebody, please!
Big Ted and Broomhilda emerge from the big tent and look sheepish, but everyone except Bob whoops and hollers and applauds them. Ted, being 6 feet, 10 inches tall, and weighing 345 pounds, looks menacing with no shirt, and wearing only a loincloth. Broomhilda is inexplicably dressed like Wilma Flintstone, even has her hair up like Wilma. With a bone, too! Mike hands Ted a loaded bong and a lighter.
Here you go, Captain. You steered your mighty ship through the perilous plights of pink poontang. Toke it and choke it, my brother.
Ted, what are you wearing? You look like a caveman! You just committed adultery with another man's wife and everyone's applauding! And Broomhilda, why are you dressed like Wilma Flintstone with a bone in your hair? I don't understand any of this! And what in the actual fuck is the perilous plights of pink poontang? But none of it matters until someone tells me, where are the 7 scouts?
Ted and Broomhilda sit down on Persian cushions to share bong hits with the gang, but Bob remains standing and looking frantic. He's the only one who is still dressed as a Boy Scout.
Have you got, oh my God, diarrhea, Bob? Why don't you sit down and join us?
I appreciate you don't smoke or drink alcohol, Bob, but can we get you some other beverage?
Diarrhea! No! I don't have diarrhea! I'm standing because I'm panicking! And no! I don't want a beverage! I want answers! Where are the 7 scouts? The boys? The 15-year-olds?
Do you mean after all this time, that's what you've been worried about? That's a bit hard to believe, Bob. If you were telling the truth, why wouldn't you have just checked the tents?
Fine, fine. I'll go check the tents right now. I'll open them. I'll see for myself. But if something's wrong, if they're not supervised, if there's inappropriate activity, I'm checking right now.
Be our guest, Bob. Have yourself a little peek inside.
Are they there, Bob? Did you check all the tents?
What the fuck is wrong with you, Bob? Are you some kind of vaccine-damaged spastic? Have you found the fucking troops? Or did you lose them like the fucking loser that you are?
Spastic vaccine-damaged loser. I'm trying to find them. I'm checking. They're empty. The tents are empty. No scouts. No sleeping bags. No gear. Just empty tents. Where are they? What did you do with them? Ted, Mike, the tents are empty. Where are the 7 boys? Did they ever exist? Was it all a lie?
What do you mean? Was it all a lie? Are you suggesting we are living in an illusion? Perhaps this is a DMT trip you're having, Bob. Are we just NPCs to you?
I'll have some of what he's having. That sounds awesome.
Fuck yay! Me too. I want some, Bob. Do you inject it or snort it or smoke it? Or is it one of those trendy psychoactive suppositories?
I'm not on drugs. I'm not hallucinating. This is real. Psychoactive suppositories. Tiffany, I don't do any drugs. And no, you're not NPCs. You're real people. Real, irresponsible, drug-using, adulterous people. But the scouts, the 7 boys, they were real. Phineas laughed at me when I squatted in the poison ivy, and they marched. They carried Uzis when we went to the marijuana field. I didn't imagine that. I couldn't have. Ted, Mike, please, tell me they were real. Tell me I'm not insane.
If we tell you that you are insane, will you leave us immediately and go back to whatever 1950s square-ass Boy Scout daddy rock you crawled out from under?
Leave! You'll let me leave if I admit I'm insane!
What do you mean, let you leave? At what moment have we treated you like a prisoner and told you that you could not leave? You really do have a fucking screw loose, don't you, mate?
Tiffany runs over to Ted and cowers against him while saying,
I'm scared, Teddy Betty. There's something wrong with that man.
È come uno psicopatico di Westworld. I suspect him of not being human at all. He smells like artificial intelligence.
Bob! Are you some kind of psychopathic AI motherfucking cunt sent here to invade our tiny bit of happiness in this mortal prison sentence nightmare? Here to shame us and oppress us with your unwavering and relentless moral superiority.
Artificial intelligence! I'm not! I'm a person! Flesh and blood! And let me leave! Ted, your attack dogs surrounded me! You forced me to carry an Uzi or be left with the K9 unit. I was treated like a threat from the moment I arrived. Tiffany, I'm not scary. I'm not dangerous. I'm just trying to find out where the scouts are. Moral superiority. I'm trying to protect children. That's not oppression. That's my duty. And oh my God, psychopathic AI cunt. Alex, I'm just trying to do my job and protect vulnerable youth and follow Boy Scouts of America policies. You all keep changing the subject and attacking me. But the scouts, the 7 boys, were they real? Am I insane? Tell me.
Take the hint. For bloody fuck's sakes, Bob. You phony plastic fake-thinking whack job. You're bonkers.
Show some decorum, Bob. Preserve what's left of your dignity.
Yeehaw! Hit the fucking road, Jack.
I'm bonkers. I'm insane. But the poison ivy is real. I can feel it. The dogs were real. You're all real. Maybe I am. Maybe I did. 51 years in scouting, and I've lost my mind. I'll go. I'll leave. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for whatever I'll find my canoe. Go back. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry.
lightning bugs are blinking their amber arses, and crickets are chirping, and frogs are croaking, as Bob stumbles through the woods in an attempt to find his canoe. He has forgotten his pack that he left in his assigned pink tent, but still has the S&W Bodyguard 380. Bob hasn't eaten or drank anything since early morning, but he now has the urge to move his bowels. He looks around to make sure he is alone, and then drops his trousers and underwear, and squats. As a man in his early 60s, the poop doesn't fall out as fast as it used to. Each turd takes its own sweet time to arrive out of the poop chute.
¿Puedes olerlo, Pablo? Definitivamente es marihuana. El campamento está por aquí. Dame un cigarrillo. Can you smell it, Pablo? It's definitely marijuana. The camp is somewhere around here. Give me a cigarette.
Puedo oler el perfume de pachulí de esa puta que se parece a Tracy Lords cuando tenía 16 años. La violaré antes de que le cortemos la cabeza. No, but I can smell the patchouli perfume of that whore who looks like Tracy Lords at 16. I will rape her before we cut her head off.
¿Hueles eso? Do you smell that?
Ya te dije no, solo puedo oler pachulí. I already told you no, I can only smell pachulí.
No, no. El olor a mierda. Y tampoco es una mierda de oso. Huele a mierda americana. Comida basura como McDonald's, Kentucky Fried Chicken y Light Coke. No. The smell of shit. And it's not bear shit either. It smells like American shit. Crap food like McDonald's and Kentucky Fried Chicken and Diet Coke.
¿Estás insinuando que hay un americano aquí en el bosque con nosotros cagando? ¿Cómo sabes que no es uno de esos violadores en serie ucranianos? Are you implying there's an American here in the woods with us taking a shit? How do you know it's not one of those Ukrainian serial rapists?
Shh! Oh God! They smell my shit! American shit! McDonald's! KFC! Oh God! Oh God! Oh God! Rape Tiffany! Cut off her head! They're going to find me! Pants down! Vulnerable! Do I shoot? Do I run? I can't run! I'm squatting! Mid-defecation! The camp! Tiffany! They're going back there to... I have to warn them. But I'm trapped here. Exposed. Please don't find me! Please! Please!
¿Qué demonios fue ese sonido de arrastre? Vino de allá. What the hell was that scuffling sound? It came from over there.
Espero que sea un oso en lugar de uno de esos ucranianos. I sure hope it's a bear rather than one of those Ukrainians. Estas malditas gafas nocturnas no funcionan bien. Solo puedo ver infrarrojos. These fucking night goggles aren't working right. I can only see infrared.
¿Por qué no puedes ver a nadie? Se están acercando cada vez más. Lánzate a la cubierta, Pablo. Why can't you see anyone? They're getting closer and closer. Quick, hit the deck, Pablo.
Mierda, Ricardo. Es enorme sea lo que sea. Es demasiado grande para ser un oso. Podrían ser los Nephilim. Holy shit, Ricardo. It's huge whatever it is. It's too fucking big to be a bear. It might be the Nephilim. Dos de ellos. Hay dos. Oh, carajo, Ricardo. Quédate muy, muy quieto y en silencio. Two of them. There's two. Oh, fuck, Ricardo. Be very, very still and quiet.
Suddenly the Tijuanans see the beams of two flashlights waving and searching about. Bob sees them too.
Fee! Fi! Fo! Fum! I smell beaners on the run!
We have detected your Garmin InReach Mini with our ion signal detector, and that's how we know who you are. You Mexican faggots! This is my island, motherfuckers!
You better surrender, because if we catch you, we will eat you alive, screaming and squirming!
And Bob thinks,
Ted! Alex! They're out here! Eat you alive! They're trying to scare them! They think Ted and Alex are ancient giants! Nephilim monsters! Those bastards threatened Tiffany! Said they'd rape her! Cut off her head! I should help! But if I reveal myself, I could get shot! Stay hidden, Einstein! Watch! Be ready! Ted and Alex can handle this! They're armed! They know what they're doing!
the flashlights land on the Tijuanans and they stand up with their arms raised.
Nos rendimos! No dispares! No dispares! We surrender! Don't shoot! Don't shoot!
And just as soon as they finish saying, "Don't shoot." A volley of shots crack out from 2 Uzi submachine guns, and the Tijuanans fall to the ground, riddled with bullets. Big Ted and Alex walk up to the Tijuanans and shoot them in the heads until they no longer look like heads. Bob jumps up and says,
Ted! Alex! They're dead! Thank God you came when you did. You should have heard what they said. They were going to rape Tiffany and cut off her head. They were going to kill everyone at camp, murder all of you. That was a brutal execution, guys. I've never seen anything like that before. But they weren't going to surrender peacefully. That's a fact. They had AK-47s. They were going for the camp. I was right the whole time. The Tijuanans were real. The threat was real.
Alrighty, Bob. Pull up your trousers and let's get back to camp.
I'll grab their guns and communication devices.
and with that, Ted and Alex strip the dead bodies naked and kick them a few times, and then grab the guns and communication devices.
Good work, lads. Let's get back to camp and celebrate.
Right! Yes! Back to camp! Taking their weapons and communication devices makes sense. We need to know if there are more of them. Ted! Alex! I heard what they said! They were planning to rape Tiffany and kill everyone! Thank God you stopped them! Are there more of them? Do we know how many Tijuanans are on this island?
As the three of them make their way back to camp, Big Ted says,
There's nothing and no one we can't handle, mate. That should be apparent by now.
You still don't remember me, Bob. It was the summer of 2010 in Lynmouth, North Devon, when you and your wife, and me and Broomhilda, took shelter in a woodshed during a sudden downpour in the woods. You and your wife were there first, and kindly allowed us in, remember?
Alex von Spliffenburg! Yes! Lynmouth! The woodshed! My wife Martha and I were hiking, and the storm came out of nowhere! You and Broomhilda! We all crowded in that little shed, and then had supper at the Rising Sun, the pub by the harbour. Why didn't you say something earlier when you came out of the tent? You acted like we were old friends, but I couldn't place you. 16 years ago! No wonder I didn't recognize you immediately. Hot diggity dog! I'm not insane! You do know me! We really did meet! And the scouts, are they okay? They were real, weren't they?
The scouts are okay, Bob. I'm surprised you didn't work it out that they are staying the night at Camp Stinkfinger Delight. Where did you think the canine unit were at? They weren't at our camp, right?
Camp Stinkfinger Delight? The Girl Scout camp? The scouts are there, with the girls. They're real. They're alive. They're safe. But unsupervised teenage boys and girls, overnight, together. Ted, that's a youth protection violation. They need proper supervision and separate sleeping arrangements. But hot damn, I'm so relieved they're real and that I wasn't crazy. But they're camping with girls at night. Are they properly supervised? Who's watching them? The dogs? Dogs aren't adequate supervision. We need to check on them.
You're a free man, Bob. If you want to check on them, that's your prerogative. You've got the bodyguard 380, and we can give you an Uzi too. Be a hero in the dark on your own, if you must. But we're gonna smoke some DMT and talk about this mortal existence as a predetermined prison sentence nightmare.
We're gonna analyze the statement. Hell is heaven's most devoted servant. The scouts are protected by the canines and will be fine, Bob!
The 3 Belgian Malinois. Those are military-grade attack dogs. Trained, lethal. So the scouts are guarded by 3 K9 units at Camp Stinkfinger. That's actually substantial protection. Those dogs detected the cartel earlier. They're trained to kill. But still, no adult leaders, just dogs. I should check on them, but through the woods, in the dark, after seeing 2 men shot. I'm sure the dogs will protect them. They're vicious and trained. Fine. First light. We go get them at first light.